My name is Jamie Lyons. I am the Director of Programs, aka the Clinical Director here at One Life Counseling. And we are located in San Carlos, and we also have offices in San Mateo, Burlingame, and San Francisco. So One Life was founded by Susie Hughes, our executive director and founder, about 6 years ago. It was her intention to create a place on the peninsula in which clients could access easy access, low cost or sliding scale mental health. So that is our mission. And we have grown quite a bit since its inception. We now have a staff of about 90, and we have a pretty thriving school-based program in which 22 therapists are placed in schools throughout the peninsula. And we have a lot of additional community partners in which we collaborate to best serve our mutual clients. And we have a number of other programs too that our trainees are offered to connect with, participate in, get involved in. So the duties involve understanding the ins and outs of the agency, participating in the onboarding process that I actually think not only helps them to do their best work while they're here at One Life, but to set them up for future success in the event they decide to open their own private practice or work for an agency. So there's a lot of overview on how to set up, how to work with other stakeholders, how to understand systems. Our trainees provide individual and group therapy to all ages and of course diverse client populations. Like I said before, if a trainee were to elect to be part of our school-based program, they would share and express interest, and we would try to match them with one of the schools. We service a number, 7 sites that are kindergarten through 8th grade, and we're looking to contract with a number of high schools as well. So that's a great opportunity to really learn some skills of working with students and working within the school system for those who might think they want to do that in the future as well. And for folks that elect this school-based program, many end up either creating their own, or they can use the curriculum that's provided to them for social and emotional learning. So they work closely with teachers to provide that in the classroom. So we have a referral team, and when trainees come to us, they fill out their information, their schedules, their interests, their skills and abilities, their preferences, all sorts of things. And the referral team does their best to try to match and reach out directly to trainees to say, hey, I have this client, sounds like they might be a good fit for you. Are you interested? And then there are times in which perhaps we, like yesterday, got 15 referrals in 4 hours. So when that happens, we do our best to match, but sometimes it becomes a first come, first serve scenario in which we specify some of the details related to the client and what they're looking for, and then batch refer to a group. I would also add that in addition to that, I think every trainee comes with their own background and experiences and their connections. So sometimes we have trainees that have a number of clients based on a previous experience that they want to see or that wants to see them. So there are times in which someone might take advantage of their own marketing advertising skills, and they might really use social media to say, hey, I'm here at One Life. I'm looking to forward to connecting with new clients, and they do some of that self-advocacy work. Um, if trainees are affiliated with special interests of some sort, or they might have a spiritual connection, religious connection, they might represent a certain group or something like that. If they're part of other affiliations, we welcome them to talk to them about whether or not, and let them know that they're open for referrals as well. So we really try to support the interests of the trainee and help them to prepare for a future state in which they're licensed and they have to operate in the world without the same holding environment. So we try to tailor some of the individual's needs in growing their professional identity. I I think caseloads vary based on the individual trainee. The expectation is that you'll build to a caseload of 12, a minimum of 12. That doesn't happen overnight. There are some trainees who are really eager and excited and they take on a lot. Of course, they get a lot of support to be able to take on those clients. But some build faster or slower depending on their personality and their and availability, of course. For trainees who elect a school-based placement, the hours vary. So there are some school sites that they may elect to have a trainee for 5 hours and some that ask for 35 hours. So when we do our interviewing for trainees, we seek to understand more about what the trainee is looking for and what their availability looks like. And then we match accordingly for some of those placements. And then sometimes and often we have hybrids. So we have folks who are in school-based placements and they would like a small private practice too. Or if they have a small number of school-based hours, maybe they have quite a large and thriving private practice. We call it private practice when they have a client panel here with One Life. As I mentioned, I'm the clinical director, and we are constantly assessing the needs and pivoting based on that. At this time, we have 7 groups available, and our trainees are able to elect any of those based on how many hours they need, how many clients they need, how many hours of supervision they need. And we try to vary it based on day and time, and we have a team of 3 other clinical supervisors so that our supervisees can learn from uh, the different styles and experiences and backgrounds of the supervisors. We are piloting triadic supervision for trainees at this time. I'm offering 5 triadic sessions a week right now to see how we can do this. As you can imagine, for a nonprofit agency, um, the you either need to pay staff or you need to pay contractors to be able to provide the clinical supervision. So it is our intention to try and provide more individual and triadic supervision, and it can be costly. So we're balancing the needs of the agency, and then of course understanding that in an ideal world we'd be able to offer individual triadic groups and anything else that a trainee would need. I do feel great about the fact that there is always someone available for as needed consultation. And our clinical supervisor group is very tight and we work closely together and we support one another. So if in the event you had an identified clinical supervisor and for whatever reason they weren't available, there are several other people who could help support you if you needed urgent support. We do our best to provide a comprehensive onboarding experience. We've created an employee handbook that details how to get started. So for some folks, if they're anything like me, I can hear it. I process some auditorily, and then I'm a kinesthetic person too. There are lots of ways. So we try to provide multiple opportunities and in an ongoing fashion. So if in the event you understood it the first pass, great. If you need more support, you can refer to the manual. And then also there's always staff available to help with things like documentation and billing and systems and referrals and renting rooms to see clients, all of that. We have, in addition to all of the supervision in which I think a lot of learning takes place, we have monthly seminars in which it's either workshop style or variety. Some of these are in person, some are virtual, where we try to assess what is desired in terms of learning needs of the staff and then provide that. So last month we had someone again present couples. This month we talked about autism spectrum with couples. Next month we have someone coming in to talk about Hakomi. So I think there are a variety of offerings that happen, and as needed consultation too. And I think all of our clinical supervisors could also teach very readily if they were in a university. So I think there's that piece of they know how to do the clinical supervision piece. They could also step in and support trainees' need for taking a deeper dive, perhaps into the theoretical framework or clinical interventions, or really understanding treatment plans, really understanding how to think about goals and objectives, understanding differential diagnoses and whatnot. So I think what the feedback we receive is that people feel held and that there are a lot of learning opportunities. We try to also message to trainees other offerings that we know of. So for example, we have contracts with the county here in San Mateo, and so they do a number of offerings that also for those that are receiving CEUs, they offer CEU trainings, but we our trainees are able to attend any of their trainings for free. Here at One Life, I would suggest that being curious and being willing to lean in, I think autonomous attributes play well here. There are the opportunities to get a lot of support, but there's also a lot of opportunity to take an idea and run with it and get the support as we go. Someone who's able to think critically and be open to feedback, someone who really understands the mission, which is sliding scale, and easy access. So we really pride ourselves on being an agency that is responsive to the community. So if in the event you say that you would like to take the referral, the expectation is you make contact within 24 hours. So I think there's a little bit of self-starting there. I mean, I think that you get the support to be able to do that, but I do think there's this piece of feeling that people are behind you, but you're going for it. Yeah, you're really moving, and you're willing to understand that you will develop more confidence in your competence over time, and you'll use what you've learned from your academic experience in theory into practice, and you'll take opportunities and take advantage of that. So yeah, we see a diverse client population. There again is a lot of opportunity to take something that one brings and to make something of it. So as the clinical director, I was approached by 3 different staff members last week who are understanding the needs of the community as they're evolving. And one colleague said, I really am seeing this need since we're coming out of COVID, that we need a latency age social skills group, and I'd like to do a game night. And might I make that happen? Absolutely, yes. What do you need? How can I help? Let's get something going. What are the who, what, when, where, whys around that? Open or closed group, referrals, how are you going to get consents? Let's do it. So come up with something, and let's get a flyer going, and let's communicate that this is something. And that type of concept can be from thought to actual in a week. So that's exciting, right? This is a place that moves quickly if that's the desire, the opportunities there. Another group, we did a youth advisory board. So there was the need for youth advisory board, and then a subset of that, LGBTQ plus for teens, youth advisory group came out of that. Now they're meeting once a month here, and then we are working closely with older adults, doing this music and memory program, and we've expanded the number of older adults and facilities that we work with to partner with them. So I think come with ideas and we will support you to make it happen. As I mentioned, I personally know my needs, or I know what my needs were when I was a trainee, and I really liked having a lot of support, and I benefited from receiving weekly individual and weekly group supervision. And I happened to work for an agency that offered both of those things, and that was really helpful. Again, we're trying to create that here, but if having free or paid individual or triadic supervision is something that you know that you need, that it's not a guaranteed. So I think knowing that about yourself, and then knowing how might you get those needs met. There are some trainees who are here, and they have decided that that was very important to them. And if in the event we weren't piloting and offering it for free right now, they would elect to pay for that on their own, because it's something that they felt that they need. So that's something that we're working on. So I like to be really transparent about that. And I I think that there have been a few trainees over the years who have said that the pace didn't always feel like the best fit for them, that they would have liked perhaps 6 months to work with a few clients, or perhaps even up to a couple more than that. So maybe a handful, that a handful would feel great for even a year as they were adapting to the role. And I really honor that about what they know about themselves, because it is a big change, and depending on you as an individual, you know yourself well and you know what you need. And if ramping up to an eventual 12 clients within a year feels too fast, then I think that's great to know about yourself, and try to ensure that you select a training experience that matches that pacing. I would say we can be pretty fast paced. We're pretty great. I have worked in a lot of organizations over the last few decades, and I think what we have to offer is pretty special. We pull from a lot of universities throughout the Bay Area and several nationally. And because of our location and because of some of these community partners, and because of our standing in the community, we get a lot of opportunities. The fact that we have contracted with the health plan of San Mateo, and that we are referred their clients, as well as BHRS, which is sort of a subset of HPSM. The clients have complexity, and many, if not all, have had an extensive trauma history. And trainees have the opportunity to really dive into the work and to understand themselves and to understand what the work is about, and to understand what it's like to bear witness, because the work, it's an honor and a privilege to do the work, and to be able to have these experiences in a supportive environment with people who are passionate about it feels pretty special to me.